Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are watching together day 7 of this trial in Tennessee against Blaise Taylor, who was a former NFL football scout for the Tennessee Titans. We've heard a lot of that during this trial. He's accused of poisoning his chef girlfriend, who was 5 months pregnant. The prosecution says he didn't want to be a father, but the defense says, no, you've got it all wrong. She had a history of drug abuse, and that could have been what led to her overdose of cocaine. We've got someone talking a lot about that cocaine and what was found in her system, including fentanyl. The doctor for the defense is now under cross-examination. Her name is Kelly Larkin, and the prosecution is asking the questions now.
No fentanyl put into Miss Benning's body by Vanderbilt Hospital until 2/26/23 at 0:45 a.m. Is that not correct?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Now you talk about people that come in that you've seen in the Houston emergency room or the day before that. Was it Waco? Was it Baylor?
No, that's Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center in Houston.
Okay, in Houston. Yeah. Those people are alive when they present, correct?
For some of them, yes.
Okay. Well, have you had someone present who is determined to be dead because of acute cocaine toxicity in your emergency room?
Oh, I'm sure I have, yeah.
And that is Dr. Aaron Carney's cause of death, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Dr. Larkin, based upon that and your testimony about what is typical of cocaine, typical of fentanyl, in the face of all that, you're saying, oh, it could be a fentanyl overdose, or it was a fentanyl overdose?
Well, we know there was fentanyl as well, and we know there was cocaethylene. I don't know that those were taken into consideration as far as the cause of death. I'm not saying there's not cocaine. What I'm saying is, by the presentation, what happened just prior, it appears that we know there's fentanyl, but the fentanyl was accentuating or causing this respiratory arrest.
That's your could have been.
Yes, sir.
Because of that trace finding.
There's fentanyl was found.
Are you basing this on the comforter?
I'm basing it on the comforter and that sample that was also testified to by Dr. Methune and Dr. Jade.
Just one or two more things about getting the facts right. You would agree that's important?
Yes, sir.
To base any opinion on. And one of the statements in this report say on the day of her death, text messages indicate that Jade met with her drug dealer. That didn't happen, did it?
Again, that's not a report.
Forget that word. Is that a statement?
Okay, those were just personal notes for me that I put down somewhere along the way. And I don't believe that there's any documentation that happened. I think we just know that she had text message contacting with the drug dealer that day,
So
back and
you
forth.
put that, excuse me, I didn't interrupt, but you put that in your notes as something you were relying on.
Not
correct?
relying on something that I was going to be looking at, and obviously I would have corrected that if I had been given a time or asked to, do notes. I didn't do them until just recently when I was getting prepared for this. So if they're inaccurate, they're not complete.
So any inaccuracy, even about fentanyl at the hospital, would make your opinion essentially not acceptable, correct?
No, those aren't my opinions. I've given my opinions in my testimony in court under oath today. And those were, like I said, notes that I was going to review to get prepared for the case today, which I've done. And nothing that I've said corroborates something that's not a truth.
So if there is no fentanyl in Miss Benning's system when she arrived at the hospital, then it wouldn't be a fentanyl overdose, would it?
Well, we don't, we know there was some fentanyl there. It was never really tested for.
In her blood at the hospital, in her body at the hospital, regardless, there was no fentanyl detected, correct?
I believe that it was never tested for because there wasn't enough blood in the initial sample from 225 prior to getting fentanyl. I believe that Dr. Carney mentioned that.
But we'll see about that. Nothing else, right?
A lot of talk about fentanyl, and that is something that is a hotly debated topic in this trial. Let's bring in our guest who is standing by. We have with us litigation expert and police expert as well, Sonny. I was trying to remember. Law enforcement expert, Sonny Slaughter. It's good to see you, Sonny. I'm all in the weeds when it comes to the details that are coming out through these toxicology experts, and now we have an emergency medicine expert on the stand. And fentanyl, it's something that the defense is saying was in the victim's body before she got to the hospital. Why? Because the hospital did have a situation where they may have administered something for pain, and that would have been why it was in the blood. But the defense really wants to show this jury that it was there beforehand. Before we get really deep in it, what do you think jurors are going to think hearing that there may have been fentanyl in her body prior to her arriving at the hospital?
Oh, Julia, so great to be with you as always. So it's beginning to be convoluted with the amount of testimony around all of this. I think this was an honest witness. Those are notes, not necessarily a report. And it's very interesting because the prosecution opened up with that there was cocaine, and we know cocaine can be laced with fentanyl. So, and if there's potentially any trace of fentanyl on the cover, the comforter that was removed from the home, which should not have been removed from the home by a family member, that would indicate that fentanyl was present prior to. And most people didn't realize that hospitals give fentanyl just like they give succinylcholine. Both of those things can be deadly when not given in controlled settings. So these are some interesting dynamics. I'm almost hopeful that it doesn't come down so much to the toxicology of this, because it's a lot for others to, for the jury to just kind of digest with, okay, is this person right? Is this person wrong?
And they've had a lot of experts on the stand. I mean, it's hard to even keep them all straight for both the state and the defense. And you mentioned the comforter. So one of the arguments by the defense is that there was a test done of that vomit stain. We've been showing that in terms of the trial exhibit. And then there was a test done of a portion that was not stained in order to get a baseline. And there was the presence of fentanyl in both places. Do you think that definitively tells these jurors that, yes, there was some prior drug use, that there was just fentanyl on this comforter, or does that suggest there's a problem with the test?
You know what? Both things can be true at the same time. We are already clear that Jade had prior drug use. And if you want to start talking about pattern of behavior, it is crystal clear, and it has come out in her text messages and everything through her own words, not an ear witness, but we do have an ear witness, her friend, that Jade had prior drug use. What hasn't come out is all of the drug use that she has had. Just like the statements for Blaise saying he didn't want the child, he could put something in her drink, which is not something else from an ear witness.
Yeah, different girlfriend, not this one.
Girlfriend, yes, different girlfriend, and saying so. When you think about prior acts, both of them have those. This case is going to come down to what the jury believes, who they believe more than anything else. And if they focus on evidence and not emotion, then I think we'll have a verdict, and nobody's going to be happy with it.
You brought up the mention of drug use, prior drug use by her friends. They deny that she used anything during her pregnancy. But there was someone who may have a little bit more credibility in front of this jury, and that was a defense witness. He was a detective, Eric Devlin, who looked through the phone messages. Let's take a listen to what he found on the victim's phone.
This is an iOS text message, and this is between the Jade Benning account and Mario Gutierrez account. On this message, it occurs on 2/18/2023, 9:33:02. The message was from the Jade Benning account saying he's about to bring your weed, specifically occurring on 2/25/2023, 9:10:46 a.m.
And what does the message say?
The message says, "Yo, can you holler at Danny? Your boy needs a half. Please and thanks."
Sonny Slaughter, and that is during the pregnancy when we look at the timing there. Your reaction to that clip?
So let me put on my opioid and drug hat. People think just because you find out you're pregnant that all of a sudden in that one day that you're going to stop using. It depends on her level of use. Was she a recreational user? Was she a hardcore user? And people can be functional with all of these. And when you have access to weed, you can have access to other drugs. I have yet to see the prosecution, say that about Blaise and any of his potential drug use. So we know that she has a history, very important testimony from this witness. And people just have to really, doesn't make sense. Just because she found out she was pregnant on Monday does not mean that she's going to automatically stop using drugs on Tuesday when you understand drug addiction, drug use, and drug abuse, which are actually three different things.
Really,
and people need to understand.
Sonny, thank you for your comments on that. We're going to keep talking about it, but we got to get to our break. When we come back, we'll have more of that emergency medicine physician who's on the stand for the defense, getting close to the very end of the defense case.